Hey, brother, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, man?
What's going on?
Not much. Just on my way to Charlotte.
Okay, Brian, what do you do for a living? Just your occupation.
I'm a dentist.
Brian, you were talking to me about a story in your life that involved mental health
Yep.
and suicide.
Yep.
Can you take us back and break it down the best way you know how and tell us your story?
About 10 or 11 years ago, I actually had a cousin who attempted suicide, and he actually was successful. So he did kill himself, gunshot wound. And then 2 or 3 years after that, I had another family member attempt suicide. Luckily, she failed at it. She's better now, but that's essentially the story, is that I've just had a couple of family members go through stuff like that. One was successful, the other wasn't. But thank goodness the other one was not. And ever since then, I was just kind of, that stuff kind of struck me mentally, and I've never gone through it myself personally, but I know other people who have. And I was a psychology minor in college, and ever since then, I've just really taken an interest in it. So yeah.
In psychology and brain health.
Yep. That big thing, I minored in it in college, and I use it every day in dentistry. I see several patients with mental disorders, whether it be depression, bipolar, schizo. You just have to know how to deal with that every day and kind of help these patients out and do the best you can to make sure they get the help that they need.
What do you usually say when you meet a patient in the dentist chair who's mentally unstable? What is your reaction?
I just try to treat them, as I treat all my other patients, regardless of their health. But I try and get them the help that they need. I make recommendations. I see if they're taking anything, any medications, if they're getting the help that they need, and if they're not, we have means in our office to refer them to somebody who can help them out a little bit.
So one of the best things about what you do is that's kind of like what the Zero Suicides Protocol is. Getting all of our servicemen and women, dentists, lawyers, doctors, clinicians, bus drivers, cab drivers, Uber drivers, anybody in the service world, mailmen and women and individuals, having them be able to reach out to the individual in pain, ask them the direct question, are you suicidal or do you have a plan? And depending upon their answer, getting them the services they need. So what you're doing is exactly what needs to be done in all services across the country in every state. So that's phenomenal that you do it naturally. That's wonderful. One of the things I want to bring to your attention, I'm going to put us both on here for a minute here. Okay. So one of the things I want to bring to your attention, brother, is that in the suicide prevention field, we don't say successful or failed attempt because of the way what it means to people who have lost people.
Right.
So it's never a success to have someone die by suicide. And they're not failing because they're not bad people doing bad things. They're just unwell mentally and they need help.
Right.
And so what we do say is we say die by suicide, as if you would die of something like liver, heart, lung, kidney disease. The brain's an organ just like the rest of the body. If the brain gets sick, so goes the rest of you.
Very much so.
So just the point of education to learn from there, and then as far as failed's concerned, we just want people to be here tomorrow.
Absolutely.
We want people not to attempt in the first place, and they're not failures, but we're glad they're alive. We're glad those who've attempted and survived, like myself, off the Golden Gate Bridge, have survived. It's a privilege to be here, to exist when I could have died. So, my friend Brian, can you break down in your life a time you've had a mental, not necessarily breakdown, but mental health struggle in your life? Have you ever experienced that?
Oh, absolutely. Especially going through dental school, that was definitely the toughest 4 years of my life, just from a daily challenge standpoint. There were times I wanted to stop and not do it anymore, and I never got to the brink of thinking about anything extreme, but there were times where I just wanted to quit. Life got too hard for me, and it was just at times just very overwhelming. Wasn't ever really a good feeling, but luckily I've got a good support group, social group that can help me through any tough times that I go through, and I very much appreciate that, whether it be friends, family, whatever. But I think it's very important to use your social group. If you need any sort of therapy, don't be afraid to ask for help. I've sought out help before in my life, and I'm not ashamed of it either. I've been to a therapist before, and I find it very helpful. It's very therapeutic.
There you go. Therapy is therapeutic, especially when you're honest in therapy. When you're honest in therapy, you can do anything, and you can achieve anything. And so you did become a dentist. You got through the hard times.
Yep.
You got through the depression. And think of all the things you would have missed if you gave it up.
Yeah,
Can you break that down? How different would your life be if you walked away from dentistry?
Hugely. I mean, it was a childhood dream of mine ever since I was 4. So it would have been just, I don't think I would have felt complete, really. Now that I've actually achieved it, I've graduated successfully and moved on to actually working. It's just very, it's a good feeling. I don't think I ever would have achieved that feeling if I had called it quits and walked away from it like I had considered previously, because it would have just been tough to walk away from. But I'm just really happy I fought through it and stayed down the course, and now I did what I had to do, and I'm good now.
Good. Let me ask you one last question.
Yeah.
Two last questions. Who is in your life your greatest supporter, and how do they support you?
Oh, I would probably say my best friend, or many friends, and definitely my parents as well. But if I had to pick one, I would say it's my dad. He was the biggest one who got me through the tougher times and really just encouraged me to fight through it no matter what, never give up.
Good. So there it is, folks. Interpersonal connection, familial ties, or finding someone who's willing to empathize with what you're going through to help you get through it one day at a time, to be here tomorrow and every day after that. Brian, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, man, thank
really
you.
Appreciate
I appreciate it.
All right, let's go over here. There we go, brother.
Thanks, man.
All right, take care.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, guys, this is my new friend for life, Brian. You know we do. We travel all over the world, sharing stories of hope and recovery. He's had a great story of how mental health has impacted his life. That's the vlog, youtube.com/Kevin Hines. And make sure you subscribe and click that bell to see all the stories that we're going to share with you from around the world, from celebrities, regular folks, and individuals who have gone through pain to triumph over adversity and change their lives forever. Find inspiration in these videos that can change your life. Bye, guys. Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you.
All right, Brian, we had a safe flight, simple and clean,
Yep.
landed nice and easy. Tell us about why your landing is the part you hate the most.
I just get nervous. I don't like the bumpiness of it. I like flying through smooth air, and then I just know whenever we land, it's always usually the shakiest part of the flight. I can't stand it.
Well, we made it, my brother, and it was an honor to meet you, my friend.
Hey, thank you,
Take
sir.
care, brother. All right.
Appreciate it.
And
Thank
that
you for your time,
band's for you. Take that band.
Oh, thanks, man.
That's yours.
Appreciate it.
All right, brother.
All right.
I hope to hear from you soon, okay?
All right.
All right, take care.
Thanks, man. See you.
When opening the overhead compartments, be careful as items may have moved during flight. You may now use your cell phones. Our scheduled gate of arrival will be gate E25. Again, that is E as in Echo 25.
All right, guys, that's it. That's the vlog. Had a nice chat with Brian. Had a great travel plan to Charlotte. In Charlotte now. Now we got to get off this plane, get that rental car, and get to work. Let's go.